just to let you know, for those of you, if you are concerned that you won't remember all of these things, I have actually put all of it into a Google Doc, which I will share with you so that you don't have to take any notes. It will all be there, because I know that when you come to these sort of things, you know, you pick up about 5 or 6 brilliant ideas, but you can't remember which one was it and what was the link, and I didn't write it down. So I've put them all into a Google Doc for you, so you don't have to do any thinking. I'm not expecting you all to become an expert at these particular apps. What I am trying to do is showcase what some of these apps can do, and then you can decide how you want to use them in your own context. So we're going to start off with one of my favorites. And when you are trying to take content and ensure that the students are learning, but also having fun, Kahoot definitely is a winner. I'm curious to know, if you have not played Kahoot, type no in the chat. Let's see how many of you have not played Kahoot. It boggles my mind that there are so many no's. But you know what this does? It excites me, because it means once you learn how to do this, you are going to become so excited about getting your students involved with mathematics. So let's start off. The first thing you need to do when it comes to Kahoot is, I'm going to share my screen and put a Kahoot quiz on the screen for you to see. You are going to sign in with your cell phone, tablet, or laptop. And if you want to, you can also do a split screen, maybe even have another tab open. And I'm going to give you all the login details, and then you're going to join the Kahoot quiz. So for those of you who don't know what you need to do, you open up a browser on your cell phone. If you're using an iPhone, you normally use Safari. If you are using an Android, you might use Chrome. It might have its own built-in Internet Explorer, whatever you want to call it. And you're going to type in kahoot.it, kahoot.it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Kahoot, and I'm just going to quickly get it ready. And then I will share my screen with you. Let me just make sure that I have all the settings. Will it show the questions on your device? Yes, we are good to go. And I'm now going to share my screen. All right. So you will notice, in fact, I should share my screen with sound, because when you hear the sound, then you get excited about it too. All right. So you've got kahoot.it. And when you go in, you're going to type in the PIN code 7868467. And then you're going to put in a nickname. And as soon as you do, your name is going to pop up on the screen. Geordie is there. A3 is now in. Mrs. J has joined us. Anyone else? Oh, we've got Miss Becky, Nad, Spring. Oh, you guys are catching on very quickly. Trust me, the students will get onto this very quickly as well. And they are going to beg and plead for you to play Kahoot with them. And the irony is that you can use this as a treat, but I mean, you're actually getting them to do work, but they think they're playing a game, and that's all that counts. So I'll give you a minute or so just to sign in. If any of you are having any technical issues, just let me know. Let's have a look in the chat. We're up to 14 so far. And of course, the Kahoot PIN code will stay on the... Temba, you are lost. Let's see if we can help you. Okay, Temba, what kind of phone do you have? Is it Android or iPhone? In fact, what we should be able to do, you've got Android. So normally if you've got Google Chrome or a browser, something that you search the internet with, all you need to do is type in Kahoot.it. And then it's going to ask you to, and someone said that they've got an iPhone. You just open up Safari. And, you know, if you're going to do a normal Google search and you type in Kahoot.it, that should do the trick. And then you're going to enter the PIN code, which is 7868467. Now, what is interesting about this is that there is a Kahoot app that you can download on your phone, and that makes life a lot easier. So if students have got devices, then they can download the app, and then they just have to enter the PIN code and they're ready to rock and roll. In order to create a quiz, you need an account. It is free. The initial account is free. It has certain limitations, but nothing that would impact you too greatly. I've got a premium account because I use all the features, and I'll show you some of those features when we actually finish the Kahoot. All right, Temba, I see you managed to get in. And then it was, whoa, this is a tough one. Oh, that's a tough one. Let's see if you managed to get in. All right, and if you don't get in, it's also okay. You can get to watch a little bit, but remember that the PIN code will be on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen when we do start, so you can join a little bit later. Okay, so here's how it works. There are different types of questions that I can pose in a Kahoot quiz. Some of them can have images, some of them can have words, some of them, for example, could have equations in, and you will use your cell phone as the remote control to input your answers. So you're not going to touch your screen, you're going to touch your remote control. All right, so we're going to start. And I have put some time limits on some of the questions just to add a little bit of excitement. So our first one is a quiz question. What comes next in the following sequence? You've got 2, 6, 12. Oh, I only gave you 10 seconds for that one. Was too short, I think. This was from a previous quiz, so I apologize because the people who take part in this quiz it's for the Museum of Mathematics in New York. We did this on Saturday night, and we've got a kid who won. He is 6 years old, and he got this right in under 10 seconds. So I apologize for that. Let's give you a little bit more time, but we're going to have a look here. Shell and Gap, you guys are on top of the leaderboard. Geordie A3, Mrs. J, and the rest of you have all got 0, but that is going to change with the next question. It is also a quiz question, and it's a multi-select. There's more than one answer. So you have to choose the answers that you think are correct. You've got 30 seconds to answer it. And of course, you submit your answer if you know which of those nets cannot be folded into a cube. So you can see here, I'm using images in the answer as opposed to words or numbers in the answer. And if you don't know, you can always guess. Don't worry, we're not going to mark you and tell everyone how badly or how well you did. So most of you would have noticed that these two cannot be folded into cubes. The other two can. So if we go look at our leaderboard now, oh, look at that. Shell and Gap are now leading with Amanda, Geordie, and Spring. This is very, very close because there's very little point difference, especially with the next question. It is a multi-select once again. Select the true statements below. 5 factorial is equal to 120. Notice this one, we give you a minute because you've got to obviously think through each of those questions. 1010101 is divisible by 7. Is that true or false? Okay. $18 seconds. Of course, if all of you answer the question before the time is up, the round will end. But if you don't, it'll keep going until the very end of that round. 18 answers came in. And of course, 5 factorial is 120. 15 divided by 3/4 is equal to 20. 12 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27, and 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So those 3 are correct. We know that 10100101 is not divisible by 7. Therefore, that is not true. Let's have a look at our leaderboard. Oh, look at that. We've had a change in leadership. Gap is now sitting in first place. Shell, you got 3 correct in a row. That is fantastic. RV is now in third, Panka, and then Tal, you're doing well in 5th place. But will you be able to hold on to your title cap? We're going to find out now. This one is a double pointer. Oh, what is that equal to? The cubic root of 125 plus 5 multiplied by 8, the square root of 8 squared. That is always a tricky one. And 13 of you got it correct. 4 of you did not. Let's have a look at our leaderboard. Look at that. Gap is now first, RV second, Tal is in third, Panka is in 4th, and Trijalove is in 5th place. Tal has moved up to 3rd place, so you never know what's going to happen. This one is, how many triangles are in the picture below? Eugene, we'll check. We'll go back to that one and find out why 65 is not right. How much time we got left there? We've given you a long time to solve this one. It's more than a minute. How many triangles are there? And 6 of you got it correct. Let's have a look. Oh, Tal has now moved into 2nd place. Trijalove in 3rd. RV in 4th and Panka in 5th. Bennett, you are the highest climber with 3 places. And let's have a look at our next question. This one is a puzzle question. So what you're going to need to do is drag the objects into the correct order and then submit. If you are using a cell phone, correct order would be from top to bottom. If you are using a tablet, you might be dragging it from left to right. Let's have a look at the question. It's a double pointer. Arrange the choices in descending order from largest to smallest. The number of ways 5 digits can be arranged in order, the number of cards in a deck, C in Roman numerals, and the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. 2 answers are in so far. Let's have a look. 5 seconds. And of course, the number of ways 5 digits can be arranged in order is 120. Actually, let's have a look here. 5 digits can be arranged in order I believe it is 120. Then, of course, C in Roman numerals is 100. Then a number of cards in a deck is, how does the dragging work, Haley? Good question. So you just hold your finger down on the choice and you slide it to wherever you want to put it. So that does take a while to learn how to use. Oh, and Eugene, you are good with 45. Okay, just checking. We will go through it again, don't worry. And then, of course, the ratio of a circle's circumference, that's 3.14. So clearly that would have been the correct order. And if I go to, let's have a look. Only 16% got all correct. Look at that. Tal is now on fire. She's moved to first place. Try Your Love is in second. Gap, Spring, and RV. And of course, Tal, you've got 5 correct in a row. We only have 2 more questions. Oh, 1 more question. This is the last hurdle. Are you able to get this one right? You buy a rooster and expect to get 3 eggs each day. How many eggs will you have after 2 weeks? And you've only got 20 seconds to solve that one. And of course, I turned the volume down, but normally it's got this special quiz music that allows the kids to hear this, like, you know, like a quiz show, and gets them very excited when they are in class. Of course, the answer is none of these. Roosters don't lay eggs, people. So no matter how hard you try to calculate it, that's going to be a very tough one to arrange for roosters to lay eggs. And now what happens is we show you the leaderboard. In third place, we've got Spring. Try Your Love in second. And of course, in first place, we've got Mel. We had Gap in fourth and RV in fifth. Well done, well done, well done. But a couple of comments I'd like to make about this game. First of all, if I click on next, I've got a couple of choices. I can see which questions people found difficult. Second of all, I can play a new game or I can play again. Playing again is very cool, and I'll tell you why. Because when you play again, it goes into ghost mode. What is ghost mode? Check this out. All of you are back in the game, plus your ghost version of you. So I can see, for example, we will have the ghost of Temba and we will have Temba. What does that mean? When we play the game again, it means that all of you, the way you played in the first round of the previous game is exactly how your ghost is going to behave. It's going to mimic exactly what you did. The way you play now is going to be different. And what you want to do is make sure that every single person in this room goes ahead of the best ghost from the previous game. And that shows that learning took place. So we'll just play 1 or 2 questions so you can see how that works. Here we go. Remember, this one is only 10 seconds long, this question. What comes next in the following sequence? 2, 6, 12, 20, 30. Now, last time we didn't get a lot of answers in. And 9 of you got it correct. So if I go look at the leaderboard now, look at this. Not a single ghost is sitting in the top 5. And guess what? We're also going to see some new names. This is a great tool for those kids that never feature in the top 10 whenever you play this game. So you play it once, you explain all the answers, and then you play it again in ghost mode, and then you'll be amazed how many kids who don't normally feature now all of a sudden have learned how to do the question and are able to submit an answer. We'll play 1 more question, and then I'll go into some of those questions that I see over here. Which of the nets can't be folded into a cube? Let's see how many of you are going to be able to submit your answers. A lot more answers are coming in than the previous round. Ten seconds. And I can also set it so it randomizes the answers so that people can't learn that off by heart. And let's have a look at our leaderboard. Look at this. Mrs. J is still leading. Try your love, Miss Becky, Tal and RV. And what is interesting is that Miss Becky and Mrs. J were not in the first round, the first game at all. And now they're in the top 5 for the first and second round. So what this does is it does level the playing fields a little bit. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you the back end, because a lot of people are asking, so like, how do you get these questions? What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. So let me show you what I wanted to show you. Okay. So here was the quiz that I set up for you. All right. And what is interesting is that if you go into Kahoot and you go to create, I'm going to create a new Kahoot. I'm going to start typing in a question. What is, I want the square root of 9. Oh, look at that. It's got a math editor. What is the square root of 9? Insert. There we go. What are the options? It could be 3. It could be -3. It could be 4.5. And it could be -4.5. Which is the correct answer? Well, it could be both. So if we're going to say that it's both, that means that it's a multi-select. If we're going to say that it's only one answer, then we would only choose one answer. So let's say we say it's a multi-select. We're going to make it double points. We're going to say that we're going to give them 10 seconds. We don't want to give them a long time. So of course, if you want to do almost like times tables and stuff, you want to give them 5 seconds. They've got to respond super fast. The excitement levels in the classroom go absolutely crazy. And let's say I'm happy with that question. Oh, no, I need a picture. I click over here and I type in maths. Let's see what pictures come up. I like that one over there. Done. Royalty-free photographs added. Next, I want to add another question. So I'm going to go like this. Oh, no, I'm going to add a slide. A slide is going to be geometry. I'm going to maybe find do I find anything over here about geometry? Yeah, that's not a bad picture. And I'm going to say, how well do you know your angles? And then, of course, I'm going to add another question. And I'm going to go to, let's do a quiz question. No, let's question bank angles. And let's see what pops up. Type the different, oh, this looks interesting. Some of these questions could be, hey, I like this. I'm going to add this question over here. Let's have a look at it. It says, classify these angles. Oh, that is an interesting one. And it says that this one and this one together, they are supplementary. Do they make 180? I believe they do. So if I like this question, I can use it. I can also just change it and say, how do you type answers using a phone? Well, I'll show you. So if I'm happy with this question, I could say adds up to 180 degrees, and then just make that into a superscript. so that in case there is someone who doesn't know what the word supplementary means, I can just scaffold their knowledge. And then all of a sudden, I've done that question. Great. And now I want to do one of these. Type an answer. What is 0/6? What is 0/6? I would say 0. Let's type in 0. But you know, people might type in the word 0. Or they might type in the word 0. Let's see, go like this. So I'm giving options, variations to the solutions, because I don't want one of them to type in 0 and then go, oh man, I did type in 0, but you didn't have that as one of the answers and I didn't get the points for it. So we tried to eliminate that. And of course, once we're done, we're going to add one more question. We're going to add a puzzle question. And let's say the question is going to be, arrange these fractions in ascending order. And just know when you do that, go from smallest to biggest. Okay. And then, of course, you're going to type in fractions. I'm going to click over here to the maths equation editor. I'll put over here 1/2, because that is going to be small-ish. Insert. I'm going to say that, let's go with 2/3. 2/3 is definitely going to be a little bit bigger than 1/2. I'm then going to go with 3/4. And then I'm going to go over here with 9/10. There we go. So now I've put them in the correct order. And over here, I'll just put a picture like this. There we go. And maybe just do that. And done. So now here is my quiz. I'm going to call it Demo Quiz. And I'll give a description, blah, 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 blah. Continue. And it's been done. So if I click on play, then what will happen is when I do this, I go to teach. And it's going to ask me some questions. Do you want the questions and the answers to show on the player's device? This wasn't there before. It is a recent new thing. Does it cater to other languages, Loria? Yes, it does. You can obviously type questions in Afrikaans, and that's not a problem. But I do know that they've actually added extra languages like French and Italian and Spanish as the main language of the actual program. You can investigate that if it works for you, but I'll show you how we do questions in other languages quickly. So then you're going to choose the settings you want. Do you want to randomize the order of the questions or the answers so that they don't get the same order when you play it in ghost mode, etc., etc. And when you're ready to do it in classic mode, go. If you want to do it in team mode, then of course, there'll be 4 kids sitting at a table sharing one device. And then they're going to give themselves a team name. And then the team submits the answer as opposed to every individual. And then, of course, if I go to classic, it loads it up. You put your PIN code in, and then you are ready to rumble. So that was a demonstration on how to make a quiz. I just want to go back one more and show you that actually it's even easier to create a quiz because I can do this. Back to, no, I want to go back to my Kahoot. If I want to make a Kahoot, let's pretend I'm doing one on fractions. I go along to Discover, and I'm going to look for a Kahoot on fractions. And it has found 463,000 quizzes. I can do fractions for beginners. This one has had 557,000 players. This one's had over 1 million. Let's go with that one. And it was made by Kahoot. Let me just look through the questions. Choose the correct answer. 4/8 plus 1/8 is equal to. So it only gave 2 options, not 4. This one gave 3 options. If I like this quiz, you know what I can do? You're going to love this. I click on the 3 little dots and I go to duplicate. And if I click on duplicate, it adds it onto my Kahoots. And now I can edit it and call it, ready? You're going to love this. Steve's fractions with unlike denominators challenge. Too many letters. Denominators, and I'll just delete that all. There we go. Challenge. So now I've renamed it. And instead of it being private, I'm going to make it public so the whole world can use it as well. Done. And now I have, oh, it didn't take out that bit over there. Let me just quickly fix that. Take out the duplicate. There we go. It's now called Steve's Fractions with Unlike Denominators Challenge. And I can now take out a question. I can move them around if I want to. I can add in more questions. So literally, it can take you 5 minutes to create a quiz because you don't have to reinvent the bagel. So many people have already done these quizzes. And of course, they are ready to rumble. And the last thing I want to show you is that, of course, you can play the quiz now, or you can do something a little bit more special. You can challenge someone with this quiz. So if I go like this and I go to share, is it allowing me to do it? Let me see if it's working now. If I go over here, I want to play a challenge. Here we go. When you click on play, instead of going to teach, I'm going to go to assign. When I click on assign, I'm going to set the deadline. This quiz is going to end on the 28th of August at 12 p.m. Do I want the timer on? Yes. Do I want the player identifier off? No, I want it on. Randomize the order? Yes. And there are 2,000 kids that can play it as a maximum. And I click on create. And you know what it does? It creates a link that I can now send to you. This link, this URL, you can send in your Google Classroom or your whatever, or you can just copy it and paste it. And if I send it to you, you can play this quiz on your phone at home, and it expires at a certain date. So you can apply this for homework, and then they can go home and think that they're actually playing a quiz for homework. They don't realize that you're actually sending them work home. And of course, last but not least, I keep saying this, but if you go to reports, you can go along, click on this one over here, and I can download the report. Over here, I can download an Excel spreadsheet of exactly how every child did, which questions they got wrong, so that I know where I need to work a little bit harder in class to help students understand that. So that was a very brief introduction to Kahoot. I know it does take a little bit longer. Some of these ones are going to be much quicker, but hopefully you'll be able to use that in your classroom. Some of you are going to find that you are now using hybrid teaching. So you have to actually teach a class of students who are at home. Sometimes you've got 1 or 2 students at school and some at home. How do you work with that student so that you can see what they are doing? And here, I think, is a really, really cool tool. Funny enough, Kahoot, when I first saw it, I thought, what a great game. It needs a bit of work. So I contacted the CEO and I said to him, listen, Johan, I love what you're doing, but you need to fix a few things. And he flew from Norway to meet me in Cape Town so that I could take him around to schools and show him how I use it. And a lot of the features that we have today are things that I've spoken to them about back then. And also because I work with the development team, you can use Kahoot on a phone, a tablet, or a laptop, Timber. It's on all devices, on Mac, on PC, you name it. And what is even more interesting is that this new program I'm going to show you, I contacted the CEO once again, and many of the features that I've been moaning about, he's put in. But if any teacher says, oh, I would love this feature or that feature, overnight, they add it in. And I'm going to show you what that is. This one is called, I'll type it in the chat for all of you, Whiteboard.chat. But don't go to this link yet. I'm going to give you another link I want to share with you. And let me show you how it works. So I'm going to go along over here and I'm going to go to new and I'm going to go to whiteboard.chat. I'll show you how it looks so that you know what to do. I'm going to click on start drawing. Now I can manage my boards. If you save some of your boards, you can. I'm just going to go to start teaching. And I'm going to call myself Mr. S so that the kids know who I am. And I'm going to click on invite on the top right-hand corner. I'm going to copy the URL. Here it is. And I'm going to paste this in the chat. So you're going to click on that URL and you're going to put in your name and you're going to have your very own whiteboard. So I'll give you a minute or two just to click on that. It works on all devices as well. Did I mention it's free? So let's see how many people have signed up to the whiteboard. Right now, I can only see one name, and that's me. Anyone else going to click on that link? Oh, I see A has joined. Anyone else? Or B, we got two. Oh, now they are joining. That is wonderful. You keep joining. That's fantastic. And while you're joining, I'm going to show you why this is so important. I would like to know the answer to the following question. What is 3x plus 9 equals 17? Can you please solve for x? So on your boards, you're going to try and solve for x, but what you'll notice is whatever I write on my board appears on your board. So that means I could potentially click on upload a file from my computer, put in a worksheet, which happened to be a PDF. And let's see if it loads it. There it is. I can just move it down a little bit so it's not in your way. Was working earlier. There we go. Did that work? There it is. Let me just make it a bit smaller. So we just have to navigate that a little bit. Click on there. I want to try and make it a bit smaller and I want to move it. Here we go. I've moved it over there. So I've given you a PDF. I've also given you an equation to solve. And I'm going to now go to the grid view, bottom left-hand corner. When I click on it, here comes the best part. It shows me what you people are doing on your board. So Bennett, I can see you are doing a great job. Geordie, I see you were making an effort until I gone and stuck my PDF in front of your picture. So maybe what I should do is go back to my board. I'm going to go back to book. And I'm going to move my board out the way because it's interfering with the work that you are doing. I click on this one over here, move and resize, and I'll move it out your way so I can have a look at what you guys are doing. Where is your grid? There we go. Ah, I see. We have gap over here that has solved it and said x over 3. Very nice. So now I can showcase your work. I can also join your board. And if I join your board, then I can say, great work. But that's not going to be on my board. That's only going to be on Gap's board. Because if I go back to the instructor, mine is still over here like this. So this gives you an opportunity to interact with your students, see the work that they are doing, and even if they are at home, if they are sitting in a classroom, I must disable my browser. Oh, I'm not going to do that. So what you'll notice is you can write things on here. You can now import or add. I can add stuff to it. A new feature that was added 2 days ago, phone scanner. You're going to love this. Let me see if I can find something that I can show you. All right, we'll test it out with my phone. I'm going to go to phone scanner. I'm going to quickly use my QR code reader to read that code. I'm in. Now it's going to activate my camera. It says take a picture. I'm just going to take a picture here with my camera. I've taken a picture, accept it. And now watch what's going to happen. It says upload. I'm hopefully going to have my picture that I've just uploaded on the screen. Here we go. So now I can take a picture of a workbook or a page. And let me tell you, that is the kind of flexibility. But now you're probably thinking, oh, well, one page, it looks a bit cramped. First of all, you can scroll down. So you've got a bit more space. Second of all, I can click over here, page 2, page 3, page 4. What did you say? It shouldn't look too different to the laptop. But what does happen is obviously if you're on a phone or a tablet, it will look a little bit different because of the screen sizes. And you can change the resolution size on your screen units, and that should help you to fit more in on a screen. What is also interesting is that you've got a whole bunch of other features. Is it high tech or low data? As far as I know, it's low bandwidth. The guys that are developing it are trying to make sure that it uses as little bandwidth as possible, but you can determine that from your own experience, Magda. But now if I have a look over here, you've got your tools. You've got a whole bunch of things. I can add grids, for example. Let's go like this. If you're doing the Cartesian plane, let's go to drawing tools. I'm going to have a line from here all the way to here. Maybe I want to make a set of axes. And then, of course, if I go back to the dots, the click and draw, and I'm choosing to draw with the normal draw, I can hold my button down, and normally it allows me to put in a dot. So if I click somewhere, it just adds a dot. It does take a while to learn to navigate this, but let me tell you, you can put dots wherever you like, and they're actually nice size dots, so they look good and they work. You could change the size of your pen thickness. You could change the color if you want to. Over here, I could then go to this color over there and put my dots in, and I can say on this set of axes, what are you going to get? Blah, 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 blah. And that's just the beginning. Now we go to the right-hand side, and you'll start to see they've got gizmos. Gizmos are things like, well, we've got chemistry, we've got currencies, we've got math symbols, manipulatives, 3D shapes. Let's go to 3D shapes. And hopefully it'll refresh. Let's have a look. We're going to use this one, a cylinder. And then, of course, I'll click on move and resize. And now I can talk to someone about diameter, circle, radius, all those sorts of things. I use a stylus. So if you've got an iPad, you can obviously sign in with the iPad and then draw with your finger or a stylus on the iPad. You can actually use your phone and draw with your finger on the phone too, although the screen's a bit small. Or what you can do is, I mean, I just use a stylus on a tablet. There are many hacks that you can use, but just remember that it's not just these things over here. They've also added in widgets. And widgets are things like student signals. You can add in a YouTube video. Oh, you're going to love this. Let me go to this page over there. I'm going to add in a YouTube video. So let me click there to close that. Add a YouTube video. Well, let's choose one quickly. Let's go to YouTube and let's choose this particular video here. I've got the URL. There we go. I'm going to go back to this one, enter the URL. There it is. And I first want to say start after 10 seconds and end after 30 seconds. I'm going to put in the URL and I'm going to click go. Now it's loaded the video. What? There are no distractions around the video, no adverts. That is just amazing. You can only see the video. And if you go to your page 5 on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen where the little arrows are, you just scroll to page 5, then you can watch the video on your screen at your own time. So you can get students working through things as they like. There are many other features, for example, built-in marking, where you can get your students to sign into a room, and then you can actually allocate marks to things. What I would recommend you do is you go along to the help button, and you go along to webinar training. And if you do that, then you will find that they have got, oh, they've closed that now. So let's go back again. You go along to all tutorial videos, and everything you need to know is here. Some teachers are even adding their own whiteboard sets of, let's say, 10 pages. They load them up on the internet, which you can then use and download, which is insane. You can obviously put students into groups and then assign one lesson to the one group and assign another lesson to another group. It's even got a built-in, yes, it's got equations. You can even do text to typing and typing to text. Is it, well, you mean Google Doc? I think it is easier than Google Doc, but it's also easier than Jamboard. And it's my go-to tool because I think that from a collaboration point of view, it really is a simple program. So what I'm going to do now is the next few I'm going to whisk through because these are quick, and I did want to spend some time on these ones because I thought that you would find it interesting. There is a wonderful app, and what I'm going to do is let me quickly share the Google Doc with you so that we don't run out of time, and then you go, oh, but he didn't share that document with us. We wanted to see it. So I'm going to share it with you. Here we go, and I'll put in the chat. And of course, you're welcome to share this with whoever you like. If they find it useful, then that is wonderful. There we go. So, Laura, yes, you can do assessments on it. You can actually mark, and it will give you the class list and the scores of the students that got certain things right. You can mark them live on the screen. Whiteboard has got so many more features. I didn't even get close to touching on 1/50th of what they've got to offer. You can even drag and drop this like block coding into a little block, and the kids can actually do a little code and make it do certain things. You can even have currency and drag them into a block, and it'll tally it up for you. Just crazy things like that that they keep adding. All right, so the next tool, I'm going to share my screen from my cell phone. Hopefully, it's going to allow me to do that. Let's see. Am I still in the Zoom call? I might not be in the Zoom call, so let me quickly rejoin the Zoom call. Let's see if it's going to let me in. I am connecting. There we go. And I'm going to share my screen. It says only the host, so you might have to make me a co-host. So Tal, are you able to make my other me a co-host?
Yeah, I've just done it now for you, Steve.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So I'm going to go to screen. Okay. So this app is Microsoft Maths. And let me show you what it does. I go to education. I find it on my phone somewhere over there. And you'll see on my screen, on the top, it says scan, it says draw, and it says type. Scan means I can take a photograph of a maths question on the screen. So let's just quickly do that. Exit full screen. I'm going to just type in math equations. Hopefully something will pop up. Let's go to images. I see one over here. So I'm going to go like this, take a photograph of it. And if I go back into the Zoom, then I can see what you're looking at. It says, do you want to evaluate it? Yes. Do you want to factor it? Yes. Do you want similar problems? Yes. Here are some videos on how to do these things. Here are some related concepts. Here are some worksheets from the web search. Similar problems. Here we go. So you've got all these tools on your device. And that all came from taking a snapshot. Let's go back. Now I'm going to draw one. I've written 2x squared minus 3, and look what it did. Let me just go like this and add something extra to it. Plus 4. Oh, look at that. It's updated it. And now if I click on that little arrow on the right-hand side, it offers me all those fantastic options. It even offers me a graph because it happened to be a quadratic. And it gives me all these extra things that I can use as resources as a student and teacher. So does this mean to select a suitable URL link and worksheet, we just scan the question style? I believe that's what it's doing. Yeah. Okay. So that was just one example of Microsoft Math. Hopefully that made sense to you, and you can download it on your phone. It is free of charge, and I think it's pretty cool. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you very quickly, and how much time have we got left?
So it's scheduled until 11:30, but it's really up to everyone who's here, Steve.
Okay, no, if we've got until 11:30, then we can go through all these things. All right, the next thing I want to show you is Mathagon. For those of you that have not seen Mathagon, my very good friend has written Mathagon. He's a lovely, lovely guy, and if you ever want to connect with him, I contact the CEO of all these things because I think that, they want to hear feedback from people who believe in their product, and they value that feedback greatly. So here is the link to Mathagon. If you'd like to explore, I'm going to show you a little bit about Mathagon so that you can test it out for yourself. Let me go to this part over here and share my screen with you. So what is Mathagon? He calls it the textbook of the future. What does that mean? Well, basically, you've got courses that you can do, and you've got tools that you can use, and there are activities. So let's go to a course. Let's say we want to do triangles and trigonometry. Let's go to the introduction. He gives you a little bit of feedback, some introduction, some content. And so how do you measure the height of a mountain? Oh, that's a tough question. Notice he's trying to make it applicable to everyday life. Click on continue. Oh, there's the top of every mountain. Very nice. What else is there? We need the base. Hey, look at that. If we can get the top of the mountain and the base, and of course, I've seen this shape before. Wait, it's a triangle. This is fantastic. And they did this in the previous course. If I click there, it'll take you to the previous course. There's the base of the mountain. That is the distance. That is the top of the mountain. If I click on continue, and they start going along over here, they give you a little bit more information about Edmund Hillary and Tenzing, Norway. And then, of course, he's going to add extra animations because he keeps updating it. He's showing you where we use triangles in building and design. And of course, he's got little videos and stuff. Sometimes when you go into it, there will be an interactive thing. Draw a triangle that has lengths of 4 centimeters, 4, 5, and 6. So there would be 5. No, not long enough. There would be 5. And of course, let's just see if I'm allowed. There we go. We're going to go 1. And then we're going to draw 4. And it's not showing, it's not staying there. In the box, draw the length. So I'm wondering why I'm not able to get it right.
In the box of the length, draw the longest side of the triangle, which is 6 centimeters.
Ah, well, maybe I should follow instructions. So I'll start off and draw 6 centimeters. Done.
Now we already have 2 of the 3 vertices of the triangle. The challenge is to find the last one.
Continue.
Next, draw a circle of radius 4 centimeters around one of the vertices.
4 centimeters around one of the vertices. Is that right? That's not quite right. Can you see it's giving you feedback? So what happens is it gives you feedback. These are interactive. It's actually helping you to understand concepts. So now I'm going to try to do 4. There we go.
And a circle of radius 5 centimeters around the other one.
So did you notice it's reading it to me? It's got all those features. Plus, if I go to Polypad, Polypad has got a whole bunch of really cool things that you can use. So for example, over here, I've got an equation editor. Over here, I've got a text box. Over here, I can use it for construction. Over here, I've got drawing tools. Over here, I can put in a grid. Over here, I've got settings. Over here, for example, measuring tools, I can put in a protractor, and I can obviously then move that protractor and resize it depending on how I need it. So these are amazing tools that you can use when working things out. And of course, you can do lots of things. You can save things, you can add things, you can share things, polygons and polynomials, like dominoes, but more than one-sided shape. You've got pentagon tilings, a whole bunch of things. You've even got tools and axes, number lines, coordinate system. Let's do that. And that might help you to do certain activities as well. You can increase the numbers of your units on your actual axes, etc., etc. You can then draw a line from there to there and ask, what is the equation of that graph? And that sort of thing. It's got tables, it's got clocks, it's got a whole bunch of cool things that you can do. And you can obviously arrange those clocks depending on how you need them. And you've got courses, Polypad, and then you've got activities. Timeline of mathematics. You've got multiplication by heart, problems and puzzles. My friend Simon Singh has got parallel. If you want brain teasers for your students, the ones that need extra stimulation. I'm also working with MoMath, so you guys can also access some of the most amazing things from MoMath. And you've got these fun little things, Eureka Magazine from Cambridge University, Treasure Hunt. There's just so many amazing things. And then my friend James Tainton has done the exploding dots. If you want to learn about exploding dots to explain mathematical concepts, it really is a great thing. And all of these are all built in and it's free. I'm seeing a lot of questions popping up. Well, you know what, Gloria, you can make it university level depending on some of the concepts. You can also bring them down to primary school. I do think that you've got a lot of all these features built in, depending on what levels and things you want to do. So that was the Mathagon in a nutshell. You would love more apps to practice with in prep for tests and assignments. I can't believe you just said that. You read my mind. So I'm busy working on an app at the moment with two of my very good friends. And it started off with my friend Greg, who came to me and said, you know, we don't have enough students in this country of color achieving well in mathematics Olympiads. And your performance in mathematics Olympiads is often a precursor to your success at university. And I thought, I couldn't agree more. So he said, how do you think we should do it? I said, let's make an app. So he started making an app. And now we have a beautiful app for all your students to try. We are going to, Gloria, I'll chat to you about dyscalculia and dyslexia, because obviously kids are going to have different levels of ability. So here is, for example, mytutor.chat. You can sign up on your phone. You can sign up on your device. It really is, you can decide on how you want to use it. And I'm going to demonstrate it quickly. Let me just see if it'll sign me in. mytutor.chat. And I believe it's working. I'm just going to go to share screen. Here it is. And it works like this. It does like a chat with you. It says, here's a question. If you are preparing for a weekend away for a family of 5 who each will eat 2 eggs for breakfast on each of the Saturday and Sunday, how many eggs must you pack? So I said the answer was 4. They said it's correct. If I click over here, it gives me an explanation on how they got that answer. Here's your next question. If you try one maths question on the day and you register with mytutor.chat and then you do one question more on each subsequent day, how many questions will you have done after your first week? So let's say I choose 2, or I chose 4 on purpose. It said, unfortunately, this is not right, Steve. The correct answer is 3, and here is the explanation. So it actually shows you the explanation and allows you to see how they got the answer. Now, the nice thing is, this works according to your level. So the more you get correct of a certain level, the harder the questions become. And a little birdie on my shoulder tells me that Living Maths, we normally run our Olympiad every year. We're going to be running our regular Olympiad during October, November, from grade R up to grade 9. And if any of you would like to join our mailing list, just go to livingmaths.com, and where it says Olympiad, just click on sign up and I'll add you onto the list. And you'll automatically get all the papers and past papers and all the resources. But we want to attempt to test out a previous Olympiad using mytutor.chat. And we've come up with 2 new formats. One is an Olympiad style, where the students get different sections. They are timed sections. And then there's a leaderboard, so they can see how well they are doing compared to other people that are taking part in the Olympiad. And then we're also looking at one where you've got a month to write it, and you have to do it at home or on your device or on your laptop, wherever you are. And we're also looking at a pub-styled version, and maybe pub isn't the correct word, but more like one where I can have a group of kids in a hall, and they all have devices, and I put up questions, and they've got to then take part live while they are in the hall. And then, of course, we can go through those answers after each round as well. And that's something that we're busy finalizing. We should have it up and running probably in the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to then give them all my past papers so we can feed them in. And as a teacher, you will be able to create a quiz and drag and drop questions from South African Maths Foundation, from UCT Maths, from Living Maths, from AMISA Challenge. You'll be able to drag and drop questions in and create your own Olympiad and then fire away with your students. So lots to look forward to with mytutor.chat. What? Of course it's free. So you can go and check it out if you want to. Now, Loria, you wanted to know, are there any challenges regarding learners with difficulties, ADHD, and autism and dyslexia? So dyscalculia is almost like what we would call the dyslexia of mathematics. And I fortunately did get a chance to run a workshop on that. And what is interesting is that teachers who have got students like that need to differentiate. You need to give different concepts to different kids so that you can scaffold those kids who need extra support. And a wonderful example is, and this is one of the things that came out of the conference, which I thought was very, very useful. A teacher was asking about, like, you know, when it comes to things like fractions, for example, people with dyscalculia can't do certain things. So let me show you an example here. So if I teach you 3 times 4, let's go 3 times 4. 3 times 4, what you would say is that it is 3 groups of 4. And that's how we do teach the concept to students. If I said to you that maybe it's 4 groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the students are going, okay, I can follow that. But now the kid with dyscalculia, when you say to them, what is half of 4? Or what is, so I mean, that kind of concept is a little bit harder to understand, because effectively you're just saying it's half of a group of 4. So what the person who was presenting it said is that if you are teaching it like this, let's say you've got a half of 3/4. He was saying that, for example, if you actually show 3/4 and then you're going to do half of that, visually, the person is going to understand that more than if you just said, well, it's just a half times. So you're going to go 1 times 3 over 2 times 4, and you're going to get 3 over 8, 3/8. They might not get that. So here you're going to try and explain that to them using a visual concept. And I'm not saying this is accurate. I'm just giving you an example of one of the things that he was talking about, that some students have got dyscalculia. They just don't understand fundamental concepts that you have explained already that seem intuitive to the rest of the class. So my advice is that learn to scaffold concepts, learn to differentiate, and you know what? You can create a Kahoot quiz that is based on the level of your students. And you can give 1 assignment to one group and 1 assignment to another group. There's no reason why they all have to do the same thing. So hopefully that did touch on some of your issues. They also have, for example, reading. You'll notice that Mathagon and some of those other apps will have the Microsoft reading concept. And then, of course, it actually reads it to them for those of them that struggle with a little bit of dyslexia. And a general problem, learners can't mentally picture images when interpreting questions. So I think that sometimes it might not be a concept where they can't picture it. It's they can't process what that picture is trying to say. And that is one of the challenges with dyscalculia, that students, you know, if you are a teacher and you're saying, right, 4 plus 4 is 8, well done. That student is not seeing 4 dots and 4 dots. Because you see, when they see 8 dots in a line, they see dot number 8 and dot number 1. They number them. They don't see them as a group of 8. So it really is about helping them to understand that if I take 4 dots and 4 dots and I place them one on top of the other, or I arrange them in a circle, or I put them in a line, it's still going to be 8 dots. They don't lose the number of dots because you change the shape of it. And for them, that is where they struggle, because they have to count each dot and say that that is dot number 8. And if I move dot number 8 to where number 1 is, that's going to confuse a student, even though it's still 8 dots. So understanding dyscalculia is certainly a very, very helpful thing for teachers who've got students that do struggle. And if I were you, I would contact, where was it now? There's a school just around the corner. They are covering things like that, and they run workshops every now and again. And I'll see if I can find the information, and I'll share that with Tal so that she can share that with you if you have students that are going through that and you need a little bit of help. And now there's a new tool that I'd like to share with you. This is developed by a colleague of mine. He approached me and I said, I think it's a fantastic idea. We try to get buy-in from schools. It wasn't working. Now all of a sudden, it's fabulous. It's called Eduhub. At the moment, it's only on Android. Sorry about that, Apple. But of course, they will at some point add it onto the iPhone platform. I'm going to go to Eduhub so I can show you what it looks like. Eduhub, here it is. And what you'll notice is that when you sign in for students, they will have access to mathematics, physics, and a whole bunch of other subjects, math literacy, life sciences, geography, IT, and CAT. And if I go to mathematics, grade, I'm in grade 11, subjects, mathematics, next. I have got videos. I have got study guides. Here's Siavuya, everything mathematics, quadratic numbers, Eduhub study guide. And if I click on it, it will load the PDF, but there might be an advert that pops up on the screen. So I'll give it a second. And what you can do is you can then download these apps if you want to. So this is from Via Africa. Here we go. You can go through. It's a full-on 222-page textbook. How much is this? Free, of course. So you've got all access to these textbooks. You've got videos, instructional videos. And if you want to, you can obviously contact Brandon and make your own instructional videos, and your students can then practice, because there's even more. Let me go back. Not only do you have that, but we are also adding in a feature where you can do a quiz. So if I click over here, you've got explanation, study guides, and then there will be a quiz feature where a teacher can then go and put quizzes in, and the students can practice doing tests on the app. So now you've got Eduhub as an app, which is only Android based. And then of course, you've got mytutor.chat, which is going to become a fully fledged tool for teachers to use to assign tests and that type of thing. So hopefully that is useful to you. We've also got, I don't know if any of you know about Sharp. Have you ever heard of Sharp before? They've brought out a fantastic range of calculators. The problem is that the calculator's in your hand. I want one on the screen. What? You can put emulators on your screen? Of course you can. I'm going to share the link with you, and we're going to just quickly download one and test it out. Let's go like this. I'm going to go to the link over here. That's the link I sent you. And we're going to choose a calculator that we need. Which one should we use? Tal, which is the one that they're using at the moment?
So Steve, a good option is a W531TL. It's similar to our 535, but they can also download the 535 one directly from Maths Sharp as well. So yeah, that TP simulator is great. Yeah.
All right, so if I go like this,
down a little bit, W.
Are you on the TL one?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so I click on it. It asks me, do I want to download it? Yes, I'm going to download it. Then it's going to ask me, do I want to unzip? Yes, I want to unzip the app, of course. Nothing inappropriate here. I'm going to click on that and extract it all. And I'm going to open it. And then I'm going to share what I have on my screen. It says Microsoft Defender Smart Screen prevented an unrecognized app from starting. No, I want to run anyway. And welcome. I accept the terms. Let's see if it's allowing me to do that. I accept the terms. Enter the product ID. Never had that before. What is the product ID? That's interesting. Let's try it. EL-W531 TL. Maybe that was the ID that we're looking for. No. Okay, well, that didn't work. So sorry, Tal, I'm going to try a different calculator because I don't know why it's asking me for an ID. It didn't have that one before.
Give me a sec, Steve. I'm going to share the link for the one on Maths at Sharp. It'll be much easier.
Oh, have you got Math? Okay. All right. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Because this one's got about 7 or 8 calculators. I did download one that was very nice. It seemed to work quite nicely.
Yeah, this one is really nice.
Let's have a look. So I'm going to share that screen with you so you can have a look. Let's see. Is it the one that says SA Simulator, that one?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to run that quickly. Let's see what it does. And it says, so I had a very similar one to this one that was working yesterday. So let me share my screen so you can all see that. This is what will pop up on your screen so that you can obviously use it like a regular calculator if you are trying to demonstrate that with your students. I don't know what happened there. Just try it again. Okay, there it is. So of course, if you are doing 6 times 9 is equal to 54. And then of course, if you want to maybe turn that into binary code. Oh, look at that. I can turn that into binary code and a whole bunch of other things. You can capture images and stuff like that. Is this a graphing calculator?
So this one is not a graphing calculator, but that website that you were on, that link with the simulators, etc., does have a graphing calculator. It's called a 9901.
The 9901. Let's see if I can find. I've got a 9950.
Let me see if I've got it in mine.
Just in case any of the teachers would like it, these are useful tips. I'm going to put that over here, that link that you've just shared. I'm going to add that into the Google Doc, and then people can use that when they are trying to resolve things. So here we go.
Here is that graphing calculator for you guys.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, so that one you can, it's very, very nice for teaching as well.
So they chopped off the top part of the thing so that you've got a bigger screen to work with.
Yeah, exactly. And you can zoom in and out, you can save it, you can screen capture, all of that stuff as well. So it's really nice for drawing graphs as well. It's just, you can't buy the calculator in South Africa. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you can always use it, and kids can always put that on their devices. And I assume it works on all devices or just PC?
Just PC for the moment, yeah.
Okay. And Olivia, you say you love Easy Graph. We haven't checked that one out. I'll have to experiment with that one today. Do I have time for something else? Okay, I'm sure you all know Khan Academy. For those of you who don't know Khan Academy, Khan Academy is a really wonderful resource of explanation videos where you can share that with your students. If they don't know how to do certain concepts, they can watch the video. It explains how to do it, and they can do it at their own speed and pace, and they can rewatch the video. So it really is a great link, and I've put the link in the document just in case you needed it. But now one of my favorites is Desmos. Desmos is an incredible program or a website where you can sign in as an educator and you can create your own online lessons. I will demonstrate one or two. So here is one developed by Dan Meyer. He is a great mathematician. And if you've ever watched any of his TED Talks, you will come across his TED Talks and go, oh, that is fantastic. He has put together what he calls 3-act maths. There is an explanation on the 3-act maths. I'm just going to break it down very simply, that he poses a question and he tries to apply it to real life and blah, 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 blah. And here is a Google Doc with 87 different things. So let's do the last one. Water tank. Let's go to it. Let's see what it does. Okay. How long will it take for the water tank to fill up? I don't know. How long? Let's watch the video. Oh, it's asked me to download the video, not play it. Okay. Let's pretend we watch the video. No. All right. We'll just pretend we're watching the video. It says, how long do you think it'll take? Can you guess as close as you can? Give an answer you know is too high and give an answer you know is too low. Then what information will you need to know to solve the problem? So then, of course, the side length of the octagon, the distance across the octagon, because you can see that this has a certain shape. And if you play the video, and once again, it's asking me to rather just download it and not play it straight away. You'll get an understanding of using a calculation and guesstimation. He's helping you to try and use a little bit of mathematics to work it out, which I think is absolutely amazing. But that's just one example. So now we go back and you've got all these other ones over here. You know, when you're trying to introduce a maths concept and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh man, I just wish I could relate it to something that the kids would enjoy. This is where you're going to get some of those ideas. But no, there's more. I'm going to go over here. This one over here is one of the activity builders that Dan built. And will it hit the hoop? So we start off over here with a video. Once again, the video is not playing inside. I think they've made a few changes so that you can't just play the video inside, but it should. And then what you do is the students sign in. This is going to be the students' preview screen. You share this with the students, and it says the flight of the ball is a parabola. Can you estimate the point at where the vertex will be? So where do you think the vertex will be? From 0 to 15? Do you think the vertex will be here, over here? Any other ideas? Let's have a look. I'm going to choose 0.6, and I can share that with the class. Olivia, you think between 5 and 10. Maybe you want to be a bit more specific. Maybe 6 is the vertex. That is the vertex. I don't know. And then you go to the next slide, and it says here, input your estimated vertex in for H and K. So if I put 6 over there, what will it do? What about K? Shouldn't K be, 5? I'm not seeing anything. Maybe A needs to be negative. I'm going to add a slider for A. There's my graph. It should be negative, yes. I need to move it up. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to putting a K, a slider for K. Yes. It's not exact. So maybe I need H. Let's put a slider there for H. Almost. Bring it down a bit. Move it a little bit to the left. So what they are doing is that they are manipulating equations. You can get them to type in the actual numbers to try and match the path of the ball. If we go to the next one, in order for the graph from the previous screen to fit the path of the basketball better, what do you know must be true about the A value? It must be negative, positive, you decide. And then, of course, you're now going to put these values in and try different values for A. And eventually, you've got to try and work out, will the ball go in? So I'm going to go like this, watch this video, and then, of course, estimate the point at which the vertex will be, which is exactly what you're doing. So effectively, I must have said, this is not the greatest example. This isn't the one that Dan originally did. This is something that another teacher did. It was Brooke Seals who did it. No relation to Brooke Shields. But what I can say is that if you take, well, here it says based on Dan's original one, maybe this is his original one. He shows the video, and when you click, he shows you the path that the ball will follow, ... and stops and asks you, will it go in? And then you've got to decide, will it go in or won't it go in? But that wasn't the one either. Let's go to this one. I'm just having a look because there was a much better one. I'm not sure why it didn't show up today. Well, this one over here tells you, for example, the level, what you're going to be covering, what are the standards. These are obviously American standards. What you're going to be doing in terms of modeling. What are you expecting the kids to do? So here's what Dan did. He had a video where the ball would go like this, ... and stop and say, do you think the ball's going to go in? And you have to say yes or no. Then he asks you, can you try and draw the graph to show if it actually lands up in the basket? So you're going to draw your parabola and see if it's going to land in the basket. And then he asks you, after you've actually calculated it, do you think it's going to go in? So there are lots of examples, but Desmos is filled. So if I go to Desmos over here, as a teacher, you can create a free teacher account, and I'm looking for lessons. Let's see what I can find. Most popular. Oh, look at all of these. There are lots and lots of lessons. Let's do marble slides with parabola. So what will happen is the teacher will click on assign. And when you assign, I can send you all a link. You join that link. And then all of a sudden, you are going to get the student preview. And here's how it goes. Here is a ball. If I drop it, will it hit all the stars? Let's have a look. I'm going to launch it. Yes, I've got all the stars. That's fantastic. Next goal. Change the sign of one number in the row below to fix the marble slide. What do you think I should do? Type in the chat quickly. What do you think I should do? If I click launch, it's not going to hit all the other marbles. So maybe I should do something with this. Let's make it negative. If I click launch, the kids are going to love playing these games. Learning, but they don't realize that they are solving problems and they're able to then learn the concept through play and interaction. So now, apparently, Tal, we've come to the end of our session. Is that correct?
This is as long as we booked it on Zoom. I mean, but
okay.
You know.
Well, I can say that those were the tools that I wanted to share with you today.
Great.
I have shared the Google Doc with you. You are welcome to share that with all your teachers. And I've given loads and loads of additional links. If you have a look over here, just to end off with this, in the Google Doc, you will see I added additional treasures for you. There are all our past Living Maths Olympiad papers. You've got math apps for high school students. you've got Virtual Nerd, you've got Fun Maths, you've got SOS Maths, you've got Yummy Maths, which is all real world stuff. There's also some science stuff. There's also some Maths at Sharp. What is the website address for Maths at Sharp? Let's just have a look at it quickly. Maths at Sharp.
Yeah, Maths at Sharp.
That's the website. I'm going to quickly go like this.
There you go.
And then I'm going to go into the document and just make sure that we put a link to it so people know how to get there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then, of course, there are a bunch of extra resources there to keep you keep you very busy for the next 6 years or so. Are there any questions?
Steve, this was so awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. It almost makes me want to go back to teaching.
But you are teaching. But you are back. You just didn't realize it.
Guys, are there any questions, any thoughts? What I will do is create a page on Maths at Sharp with all of the links that Steve has given us that you can just go download and link through to. And of course, I'll embed the video from YouTube that you can go watch it as well. So if you want to refer any of your teacher friends, I know this was super, super helpful. I will share it on Facebook. Then Steve, you also do Flexing Fridays, right?
We do. So every Friday at 4 p.m., if you go onto Facebook, you can type in Flexing Fridays, and I try to showcase new apps and things. And of course, I know what you're going to say, but I've missed the last 10 weeks. Well, you might have missed the last 10 weeks, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share the links with you. So if you want to see how to do these things, just go onto that Google Doc. It's a spreadsheet. And of course, if you click on each little video, it will show you how to do each app that I'm demonstrating. There was one that I was going to show you today with OneNote, but sadly, I have the wrong version of OneNote. So as soon as I get the newer version, there is a video with the newer version in Flexing Friday. So if you go and visit that, you'll find a whole bunch of fantastic apps to use in your classroom.
It looks like everyone is just very happy and excited about maths.
That's always a good sign.
Fantastic. Yeah. When you don't have questions at the end, you know you've done a good job.
Excellent.
So guys, yeah, if you do have any questions, Steve, do you have an email address if they want to contact you?
I do, steve@livingmaths.com, info@livingmaths.com. I did put it in the top of the document, the Google Doc.
Okay, great.
All my contact details, should you want to contact me, happy to chat as well.
There, I've put it in the chat as well.
That's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, there are a couple of facilitators here and bureau teachers as well. So hopefully they'll tap you on the shoulder and say, come visit us.
I hope so too.
Awesome. I'm so glad, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, you've got my email, you've got Steve's email as well now. So if you do have questions, just hit us up and join Steve on Friday at 4, hey?
4 p.m. every Friday.
Every Friday. So if you want to learn new apps, etc., and hopefully some of these will get you excited about being in the classroom, especially with this hybrid system that we're going to be doing. I'm sure for a long time, because it seems like nobody wants to get vaccinated.
Well, I can tell you that the problem is that, you know, a lot of schools are saying when this virus is over, we'll be able to go back to how things were. And I think that that is very dangerous. I think this is our great opportunity to move forward and do interesting things in education that we haven't done before. So, you know, you've got these amazing tools, you know, in a classroom. If I want to demonstrate a parabola, I've got to go and draw it on the board. Maybe I could put it on the interactive whiteboard. But here, if I've got every child at home, they all have a front row seat and I can do fun things with them. So I think it's a great opportunity to make use of these tools to better enhance your teaching and make the kids love the content even more.
Absolutely.